Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the preview show, a live preview show for all of you who may not have many plans on this miserable, absolutely miserable Friday night. I don't know where you are in the world, you could be watching from absolutely anywhere, but I sure hope if you're not in Glasgow, you're enjoying better weather than us. You might just hear the rain battering off the loft window as we do this stream tonight. Hopefully not. I don't want the audio to be ruined, but it is pissing down outside, so we're going to try and get on with it and have a cheery one this Friday night to try and take our minds off of the weather. But we should be cheery anyway, shouldn't we? We should be really happy because Celtic are finally back in action tomorrow against Motherwell. We return to domestic action, Premiership action. We're looking to bounce back from our last result, that 2-0 loss at St Mirren. We don't want to dwell on that too much, and we're looking forward to hopefully seeing Celtic win again. I'll address this very quickly. It'll be back at the weekend. It's getting recorded on Sunday. Don't you worry. Anyway, I've got a lot to talk about. I don't want to keep this one running on too long because it is Friday night. You might have plans. Might be off to the pub. Might be away out enjoying yourself. You might also be getting your dinner sometime soon. So I don't want you to be trying to eat while looking at this mush. And also, it'll be going up as a video as well. So I don't want to keep it too long for those who might be catching up after the live stream is actually finished. So we're going to try and get through this one tonight. We're also taking in your questions, having as much discussion as possible. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're over the line now of 36,000 subscribers, so let's get to as close to 40 as possible, as close to 40,000 as we can. But yes, happy Friday everybody. Let's get into this. Celtic taking on Motherwell. In a game that we need to bounce back with. We need a win. We need to improve on that last performance against St Mirren. How will the international break affect us? Will it be more positive than negative? Yeah, I think so. I think that we needed this break. I think we needed a little kind of, you know, a little gap in the congestion of fixtures. We're playing a lot of football, and I know we're going right back into playing a lot of football. We've got 9 games in October alone. But I feel like we needed that little bit of breathing room from playing the weekends, the European games, the weekend, European game, weekend. You know, really thick and fast fixtures over the past few months or past few weeks leading into this international break. And I feel like the team just needed something to slow us down a little bit. And I think we've seen that in the performance against St Mirren. We were slow, we were sluggish. It looked as though we lacked a lot of encouragement, you could say, which is something that we know these players don't lack, and we know that certainly the manager doesn't lack. We have one of the best managers in the land. We have a fantastic group of players. It was an off day. There was nothing to, you know, a lot of people got carried away, and I think now, I feel like more Celtic fans can look at it rationally. It was a blip. It was a kind of bump in the road. These things happen over the course of the season. You can't win every single game. So it was about time we probably did drop points. 364 days we went without losing in the Premiership. It was always going to catch up on us. And I think that's why we needed that break, and we needed a little bit of a rest from playing in the fixture. So hopefully both the players who competed in international duty and the players who were left at Lennoxtown feel sort of refreshed, coming back into club football with a hunger to win again. And it's a nice fixture to kind of go into. It's a game at home in the league, and obviously Celtic Park, league game at home against a side that isn't, you know, a Hearts or a Rangers. It's a game you favour your chances in, not to be disrespectful to Motherwell, but it's a sort of game to kind of start you off nicely, and hopefully we go into it playing the football we know we can play, and hopefully we find ourselves a result. Now, the big topic going into this game is the injuries. It's the lack of talent that we have going into it because of the guys who've dropped off over the international break. We've seen 7 names peter out of international duty with injuries. David Turnbull, Liel Abada, Dyson Maeda, Georgios Yakimakis, Sead Haksabanovic, and then the 2 players who didn't go on international duty injury, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt. A list of 7 players who we know had niggles and they had kind of issues that were going to keep them from playing football. Ange Postecoglou, the big update we waited on today was the press conference and the fitness update about these players. Who will be fit, who won't be fit? Well, it was good to get confirmation from the manager today. We know that there is 3 names who are set to miss the game tomorrow. 3 names who definitely won't be involved. Those 3 being Georgios Yakimakis, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt. Those are the 3 out of the 7 that definitely won't be involved. Now, we'll talk about the other 4 in a moment and if they're going to be involved and to what extent they will be involved, if so. But it's a blow. You know, we're missing our 2 best centre-halves. And we've seen how much it affected us with Cameron Carter-Vickers out the side, and Starfield's a big miss as well, don't get me wrong, that's not being disrespectful with Starfield, but Cameron Carter-Vickers especially, because since he's came into Celtic, he's basically been there every week. Last season, I think he might have missed a couple of games here and there, but over the course of the season, he was there. And he was always stood up for. He was always he was the guy that held the defence together. You could say he was easily our best defender. And you've seen how much of a mess he was against St Mirren and the defending of crosses, set pieces, just his general presence. It really went amiss. And you've seen Welsh and Jens kind of struggle to build the same sort of partnership that I think any of the two of them would normally have with Cameron Carter-Vickers. Welsh started the season really well when he was partnered beside Carter-Vickers. Jens played really, really well when he was beside Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think that it just goes to show the sheer, presence that Carter-Vickers has in the side. And missing him will be a big blow. And obviously Starfelt still being out is a big blow as well. I love Giacomakis. You all know how much I love Giacomakis. Missing him is annoying. But the other four, we've had positive updates on. They could be involved. Haksabanovic, it was good to hear good news about him. But Turnbull, Haksabanovic, Maida, and Abada, I think can may be involved with the game tomorrow. So that's one of the main things, and that's good to hear. You think about the team that we have, and we'll go through the 11 that I think we'll play. You go through that, even with the guys who have got knocks, the names I mentioned there, we still have a good enough team to win tomorrow. Big shout out, by the way, to Stephen, by the way, who's in the comments. Motherwell fan, good friend. Nice to see you, Stevie. Don't know if you get called Stevie very often, but I'm going to call you Stevie anyway. He says, looking forward to the game tomorrow, Ryan. We're playing good stuff. Had 50 shots and goal in the last 2 games. And with Celtic's injuries, confident we will create chances. Well, we're going to come on to talk about the opposition in a moment. Let's go through what I think the team will be very quickly. And I'm just going to throw up the graphic from yesterday's video because I do think that this will be the team, and I think this is what we'll see now. We have had positive updates on Abada, on Maida, and Haksabanovic. They're not going to be missing, but I feel like it is an opportunity for Forest to start. I feel like with them picking up knocks, the manager might be a bit precautionary because we've got a much bigger game. No, not much. Every game's big. Let's not be disrespectful here. Take that back, right? This is a massive game. We need to get back to winning ways. But we've got a European game on Wednesday. And I think that the likes of Haksabanovic, Maida, and Abada, to try and keep them off the pitch for as long as possible, could be a priority. And trying to keep them fit for a must-win game on Wednesday too. So this is the team that I think could start the game tomorrow. And a lot of people will be moaning about Forest, they'll be moaning about Welsh, etc., etc. But this is a team that is still good enough. You're looking at James Forrest, who's been a constant in the last 15 years of Celtic. You look at Welsh, who, had a poor game against St Mirren, but has came on leaps and bounds. It's a team that is really capable of grabbing the game. The big difference for me in this team to the team that played St Mirren is that midfield three. That midfield three is, I think we lost the game in the midfield against St Mirren. I think we didn't have the same grasp on the game. But if you get Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor back on tomorrow against Motherwell, I feel like you've got a nice grip on it. I think they three do a lot. And, a lot of these guys have played so much football. McGregor and Taylor, they played a lot for Scotland over the course of the international break, for example. So they have played football, but I think that is the team that would make a lot of sense tomorrow to get us over the line, to get us those 3 points. And offers the manager a little bit less of a headache if, say Abada or Haksabanovic plays, they go off again carrying a knock. It's not good. It's not good for Celtic at all. So I think that could be the team. Just a slight inkling to it. Maybe not. Maybe Haksabanovic starts, and I'm certainly not going to complain if he does, because I want Haksabanovic to get that full game. I want to see him play over the course of the 90 minutes, because to get that in his legs is so important. To get that, he's not going to play 90 minutes anyway, but to get that start, he's only had two starts so far. One start so far. Need to get him into that role, because I think that's his future at Celtic, is being a starting player. Thank you for the donation, Jacob Miller, £1.79. Good talking point, which I want to get on to. Very nicely done. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate the donation. Abiel Gard, I think he will be involved tomorrow. To what extent? Not sure yet. You could maybe push McGregor up the park and start Abiel Gard tomorrow, but I think we will see him involved. He really does need to be involved. I think that's about time. Obviously, he came into the team really late, arrived just before the deadline of the transfer window. And I think there's a lot of kind of expectation surrounding him. Not over expectation, but we've been waiting for a central defensive midfielder, and we know we've signed one of a good quality as well. So I think that he's going to come into this team and offer us something good, and I can't wait to see him actually play. So good point raised by Jacob there, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he is involved tomorrow. In terms of Motherwell, let's look at them for a moment. My graphic is not working. It's every time I try and bring it up onto this, it's saying error. So you're just going to have to let me read from my graphic. Apologies. In the Premiership, they haven't won in the last 3, but they have, as Stephen said. Stephen was in the chat. Good to see our Motherwell fan in. They have been playing well. They've obviously got a good side as well at the minute, Motherwell. They've had a bit of an up and down season. It started very much on the down. It kind of went back up again, and now they're kind of finding their footing under Stephen Hamill, of course, the new manager. But a good side when you look at them. They've got good players in there. They've, of course, signed back Louis Moult as well, which is huge. So Van Veen, Moult, the combination of those two, it's a side that carries threat. As Stephen put in, 50 shots in the last 2 games, 50 chances made in the last 2 games. With 2 players like Van Veen and Moult, they've certainly got guys who can finish those chances. So it's about how Celtic deal with that and try and put up with that, and how they try and keep them out. So I'm looking forward to it. Motherwell, every time they come to Celtic Park, we know what to expect. A bit of the old hammer throwing, a bit of the old roughness, but I'm sure we can get over that. We've certainly got the quality to play around that, and it's a game that we should win. So my score prediction, I'm going to go for 3-0 to Celtic. I was going to give Motherwell a goal there, but come on, we can do this. Even with the kind of second team defence, we can do it. I hate to say it, but I could see Van Veen scoring tomorrow. Listen, I wouldn't put it by him. Decent enough player. But in terms of my preview to the game, that's basically everything that I feel like I need to say over the course of, 13 minutes. So let's get some of your questions in, and we'll give a little sort of 5-10 minutes of a discussion for the game tomorrow. That's why I like doing these live ones. It brings up your thoughts, and I can respond to that. Adam, I cannot wait for my currywurst next week. And that's another thing. We need to win this game. We should be winning this game, but we need to keep that confidence flowing going in, because we've showed so much promise in Europe so far. I want us to stay in that kind of same mood, that we can go away on Wednesday and win that game. So it is one game at a time, but you get the confidence from this game tomorrow, and suddenly you go into Wednesday feeling that good spirit, because we got it dampened a wee bit against St Mirren, didn't we? And I'd like to just see it rise back up to the place we can see it being. Of course, the Hammers are in there. Right, let's see. Any questions? Let's get them in. Prediction from Stephen, who says 4-1, Kyogo and a hat-trick. It would be nice to see Kyogo get a hat-trick, win it back in amongst the goals after a couple of quiet games. That would be nice. 4-0, says Doogie Boy. Peter, can you see Cameron Carter-Vickers and Giacomakis being back for Wednesday from the way Ange was talking? It's a good question. I think it would be hopeful. Maybe by keeping them out this game, it offers more of a chance of them being ready for Wednesday. But the way he was talking, it's hard to suss out, because, of course, we're focusing on this game tomorrow rather than looking ahead to Wednesday. I think that the best thing I can say, there's no point in speculating. Tuesday we'll know. When Ange speaks to the media on Tuesday, we'll find out. I'm hoping and praying that they can be fit. The question is, will they be fit enough to go in and start anyway? Should they start? Will they be, have they got that in the legs of them? I'll just have to wait and see. We'll come on. One game at a time, Dougie. One game at a time. Don't want to talk about Leipzig too much. We've got sturdy opposition ahead of us tomorrow, so we need to get by them first. Absolute pleasure, Ronan. I appreciate it. 3-1 says Kookaburra. I can't see a clean sheet with Jens and Welsh at the back. I can understand the kind of apprehension towards that. This makes a lot of sense. We obviously conceded 2 to St Mirren. I think Celtic Park is the big difference. I would like something like that. I'm seeing a couple of 5-0s in here. I would love a kind of statement performance to come back from that 2-0 and go, oh, just everybody calm down. We're still here. We're still that Celtic. And we obviously still are that Celtic, but I'd love the statement on the park to go alongside that. So a 5-0 would be absolutely fantastic. I would love it. 2-1 Celtic, just too strong. Nice to see you're optimistic. Just the 2-1, Stevie. Let's see, anything else? A lot of predictions. Any questions in relation to the game before we finish up here for this evening? It's nice just to be back at Celtic Park tomorrow. I feel like it's been so long since we've actually been in Celtic Park. What was the last game? It was meant to be Livy, obviously, and then that was called off. So it wasn't the derby, was it? No, it's Real Madrid. Was Real Madrid the last game at Celtic Park? Wow. Might be. Can't think of one after that because Livy was obviously postponed. Obviously, Livingston has now been rearranged in case you missed it. Midweek in December, I think it's the 21st, just before Christmas. So a freezing cold December night against Livy. Beautiful. You've got to love that, he says sarcastically. I feel a few players are going to get their first goals of the season tomorrow. I'd love that. Haksabanovic, for example. I'd love to see him get on the score sheets, just open the kind of the potential floodgates for him to score many a goal for Celtic. I would absolutely love that. If it's possible. Feel like we're a different animal on a wider pitch. More space on the pitch to stretch out Motherwell. Absolutely. Very good comment here from Dougie, because it's true. You see the difference in how we play at Celtic Park and how we play in any away venue. You know, there's not many pitches in the league that offer the same width to this Celtic team. So when you're playing at home, it becomes a different game in a way. It's like you're playing a different tactic at times because you've got that space in the park to play with. Whereas when you're playing in smaller, tighter stadiums, it's not as easy to do what you do best, but absolutely. And then more space for Kyogo, as Peter said as well. Well, I'll be doing a FIFA career. I'm waiting to find out if they're going to bring Celtic Park into the game, so bear with me on it, and we'll see. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. 17 minutes. I feel like that's a good time. Thank you for everybody for joining in this match preview this evening. I'll be back on the channel tomorrow, of course, to recap and review the game, and we'll talk about everything that's hopefully went right for Celtic as we look to get back to winning ways. But I hope you've all enjoyed. If you've been watching in video form, I hope you join us next time live. But thank you, everybody. I've appreciated your comments, and yeah, we'll see you all next time.